Hi, my name is Carolyn Bax, and for my favorite S&P thing, I decided to do it on the eye, a little bit of an overview of the structure of the eye and kind of how we see things. So why did I choose the eye? I chose the eye because number one, it was something I didn't know a whole lot about. I personally have never really had issues with my eyes or anything like that. So never really been to the eye doctor, never really kind of had to deal with eyes, so I this was kind of new territory for me. Also, recently my dad had cataract surgery, so I was the one that took him to the hospital, and then I also took him to both of his checkups. So I was able to see kind of how they prepared him for the surgery, what they did during the surgery. They explained that whole process, and then I was able to see him afterwards, and see the healing process as well, which was really neat. The eye heals very, very quickly, so that was amazing. And it also was neat to see just putting the new lens on his eye, replacing the old one, how much that improved his vision. So that was amazing. He originally wore glasses and now no longer has to wear them. Um, Another reason I chose the eye was my mom actually doesn't have very good vision. She's ever since she was little, she's had to wear glasses. She's also had a couple of corneal abrasions. So again, it was I don't want to say neat because she was hurt, but it was neat to see how quickly the eye can heal, and how resilient basically the eye is, how sensitive, but also how resilient the eye is. Um, One other reason for choosing the eye was I have two aunts and an uncle who all have had detached retinas. Before this had happened to them, I didn't know that this was a thing. I also did not know that you could have surgery to correct this, obviously, since I hadn't heard about it. So that was another thing that kind of intrigued me. It was new territory and something I never heard of. All right, so how is vision possible? So light is stimulus for vision. That's what makes vision possible, basically. So there's something called the electromagnetic spectrum. It's the range of frequencies of electromagnetic radiation and then their respective wavelengths and photon energies. Um, so the electromagnetic spectrum is essentially used to measure light. Energy within the spectrum is typically described with wavelengths. There's many different sizes within wavelengths. It can be anywhere from short gamma rays to long radio waves. Just kind of depends on what you're looking at and how light's hitting your eye and all that. The visible spectrum for humans is anywhere from 400 to 700 nanometers. So it's kind of a cool little fact. And then how vision itself works, like within the eye and the structure of the eye. The eye itself, you have receptors for vision. Light will then enter your eye through your pupil. It is then focused by the cornea and lens to sharpen the image on your retina. You have visual receptors in the retina. There are called rods and cones that contain visual pigment, and then the optic nerve carries information from the retina towards the brain, so that then registers that you are seeing things, what you are seeing, the details of that, and all that. All right, so a little more details on the rods and cones, just to get a little more specific. Rods work at a very low level of light, therefore we use them for night vision. We do this because only a few bits of light can actually activate a rod, or I guess are required to activate a rod. Rods do not help with color vision basically at all. That's why when we see things at night, we see it basically on a gray scale. So that was kind of an interesting fact to know. And then there are also over 100 million rod cells within the eye. And then a closer look at cones. They're used to see color and therefore they require more light. Obviously, it's what we use during the day and then early evening and stuff like that. Um, there are three types of cones that we have within our eyes. They are blue, green, and red. And then the human eye has about 6 million cones that are packed into the fovea, which is in the back of the eye. And that helps with the detail of images, which makes sense, seeing that color helps kind of sharpen our focus and our helps us see more details a little more accurately when we are looking around. Um, so that was a little bit of an overview of the eye. Hopefully you learned something. I just want to say thank you for a good semester, and hopefully everyone has a good holiday.